Man, do you guys ever love your records? Hi, my name is Frank. Welcome back to Channel 33 RPM, your channel for vinyl gear and more. So recently, I did my semi-annual survey of Channel 33 RPM viewers. I do this twice a year to gauge trends in record collecting and in music collecting among viewers of this channel. I got a lot of interesting results, so we're going to dive into those. But for those of you who don't have the patience to watch the entire video, here is a summary of the findings as I see it. 1, you are concerned about the rising cost of records, but you're still buying a ton of vinyl. Some of you are buying more CDs, but streaming remains the popular alternative to vinyl. There you go, that's a summary. Let's dive into some of these results because they are very interesting.
Love vinyl? Tell the world with a Channel 33 RPM t-shirt. Check out the Channel 33 RPM store today.
Before I get into this, I should say for the record, this is not a scientific poll. The results are not statistically valid. That said, I do think it's a good snapshot of a point in time of viewers of this channel. A bit of background, what I did, over 10 consecutive days, I posted 10 polls on the community tab of the Channel 33 RPM YouTube page. I had over 20,000 responses in total, so there were a lot of votes. And as I said, this is really interesting, so let's dive into it. Okay, the first question, this is the big one, I thought. In your view, what is the number one issue facing record collectors in 2022? And number one, by a long shot, 70% of people who cast a vote said the number one concern is the rising cost of new and used records. Number 2 was a distant second, that is quality control issues with new vinyl. So this is a question I've been asking in a couple of my recent, a couple past polls. So again, this time 70% of you said rising costs, and that compares to 60% of you back in December. So this issue is much more front of mind now for viewers of the channel, and I'm going to say record collectors in general. I'm not really surprised by this because we have seen some significant price increases over the past year, as we've talked about on this channel before. Let's dive into some of the comments here. Dan wrote, as a vocal supporter of quality issues, I would personally say that things have improved, so it's definitely the prices now. I agree. I heard a lot more complaints about quality control issues with vinyl in previous years, and that's been my own experience as well. A lot of the records I'm buying now don't have those same issues as we were seeing before, with a lot of records coming scuffed straight out of the sleeve, problems with warping. I'm not saying these are non-issues now, but it has gotten better, so I do agree with Dan on that. Tone in Grooves wrote, rising costs, especially of used vinyl. Common albums that 10 years ago were standard dollar bin finds, like Billy Joel, Neil Diamond, Moody Blues, even Barry Manilow, are now in the regular price racks for $5, $10, even $15 and up. It is crazy. I've seen that as well. Used prices are going up, and I think the days of the dollar bins are almost done, right? I totally agree. Those dollar records are now $5 and up. And C. Miller wrote, holy cow, soon we'll have to mortgage our houses to be able to afford vinyl. Haha. So obviously he or she is joking, but legitimate point. It is getting very expensive nowadays to be a record collector, but as you're going to see, that's not slowing you guys down. This question was interesting as well. Which statement do you agree with most? Compared to last year, in 2022, I will likely buy more records. 22% of you said that. Buy fewer records, 39%. Buy about the same, 29%, and not sure yet. What I found interesting about this, and this is my personal analysis, is if you look at the buy more records plus buy about the same, that's about half of you. I thought with the rising costs being identified as an issue, a larger percentage of viewers would say they really have to slow down. But according to this, about half of you are either going to buy the same amount of records as you bought last year, or you're going to buy more records than you bought last year. So that is showing commitment. Personally, I have slowed down on my record purchases a little bit just because of the rising costs. So I would fall in with that 39-40% of you who are saying you are going to buy fewer records. So let's dive into some of these comments. Again, here's another one from Dan. Dan said, due to higher prices, I think I've become more selective about what I get on vinyl and have actually started purchasing more CDs. I think a number of people are in that same boat. John wrote, I told myself that I would tone down my record buying, but I keep finding things I want. This is the curse. This is the curse, dear, to 33 years of being a record collector. There's always stuff we're going to want. And Douglas Williams wrote, since 1978, when I started collecting, I've averaged about 400 per year. I'm on schedule for about the same this year. Wow, 400 records per year. That's more than a record a day. Let's keep on with that theme. This next question about how many new and used records have you purchased this year? Check this out. 45% of you, nearly half, have purchased more than 20 records. As I said at the beginning, where you guys are kind of worried about the cost of records, but it's not slowing you down. Here's more evidence of that. 45% have bought more than 20 records, whereas only 8% have bought none. Let's dive into some of these comments. Energy Spike wrote, I thought it would be somewhere in the 11 to 20 range, but I just checked my Discogs collection and it turns out I bought 53 since January. Oops. It happens, man. It happens. All right. So far, we've established a lot of you are still buying records. You're buying a lot of records. This next question kind of follows up with that theme. Question was, what is the most you have spent on a single record, new or used, so far this year? And again, about half of you have spent more than $50 on one single record. I should have structured this question differently. I should have had like 50 and 100, because I'd be curious how many of you have spent in the $100 range or more. Let's check out here some of the comments. This one jumped out at me. Dustin wrote, oh dear God, I'll definitely be put on blast in the video you make for admitting this, but I've spent $330 on one record and between $200 and $300 on 8 records and between $100 and $200 on well over 24 records. I may have a problem. Dustin, the first step is admitting you have a problem. I don't know. I think we all as collectors also reach this certain stage. I know I have, where kind of all the basics I've ever wanted I have, and the records I still want in terms of the back catalog releases, or those grails, those really expensive records that are going to cost a couple $100. So maybe you are in that same spot as well. I don't know. But the other thing we've been hearing a lot about and talking a lot about on this channel is this whole idea of a CD revival, of a CD resurgence, right? Is this going to happen? We've seen CD sales last year increase again for the first time in years. I don't think anyone believes that compact discs will ever be as popular as they were in the 2000s, right? There's, even new cars generally don't have compact disc players in them. So when we talk about a CD resurgence, it's kind of like a vinyl resurgence, right? There's never going to be a record player in every living room again. There's never going to be a compact disc player in every car again. But there is renewed interest in these mediums, I think. So let's get to this next question. It says, there has been talk of a compact disc revival. Which response below best describes your CD purchasing habits? This one I thought was interesting for a couple of reasons. Based on some of the comments I had been hearing, I figured that a larger percentage of you would be buying more compact discs, but that wasn't really the case. 25% of you said I've been buying more CDs compared to last year, so about 1 in 4. About a third of you saying you're buying about the same amount of CDs, but a full quarter of you are saying CDs, yuck, nope, never gonna touch them. So that's a large percentage of viewers of this channel who are not into CDs whatsoever. So as I said, I thought more people would be buying more compact discs with the rising price of vinyl. A fair amount of you are, but it seems a little bit less than I expected. Let's dive into some of these comments. Gregory wrote, I pretty much buy CDs when I can't find it on vinyl, or if the price for a particular album I'm looking for is so ridiculously inflated that I can't afford to buy the vinyl version. I agree, Gregory. I'm kind of in the same boat as well. I prefer vinyl. I love vinyl, as you can tell by the shelves behind me. But, I mean, sometimes it makes sense, speaking for myself, to buy the compact disc, right? If the new record is $50, if the CD is $15, sometimes it's a no-brainer. Sam Foe wrote, "Nope, never, yuck is a bit much." It is. I was having a little bit of fun with that option. But he says, "But I selected it as I just don't tend to buy CDs now, purely because if convenience is what I'm looking for at any given time, I'll load up a streaming platform." So that makes sense, particularly with high-res streaming now. Streaming can sound very good in some cases. Depending on your gear, it can actually sound better than a compact disc. And I do stream a lot. I got nothing against it, as we'll see coming up. But I guess for me, the benefit of having that physical media, whether it's a record or a CD, is having, the lyrics, the liner notes. I'm a nerd for that kind of stuff. I want to see who wrote what. I want to see who produced it. I want to read all the lyrics. And I guess some of that information is online, but I still like the idea of having that in my hands. Again, that's just me. Again, in the realm of CDs, this one to me was also surprising for the reasons I've stated previously. The question was about how many new and used CDs have you purchased this year? And nearly 40% of you have purchased 0 CDs. I did think there would be, that category would be smaller. I would have thought that more people would have at least purchased a CD, but no, 37% have purchased none. Interestingly, nearly a quarter of you have also purchased more than 20 compact discs. So there's a small group kind of buying a lot of CDs, which is interesting. What's the next question here? What is the primary way you listen to music? For nearly 40% of you, it was vinyl, which is not surprising, followed very, very closely by streaming. I would say that vinyl and streaming are basically tied neck and neck. Anyway, let's check out the comments. Mike, I mostly stream or play MP3, M4A files from my phone. As much as I wanted to choose vinyl, most of my listening is in the car or on the go, away from a dedicated listening room. I can relate to that. And Trevor's Flat, Round, and Spun, Vinyl Community wrote, "Even though I love playing my records, being a delivery driver, streaming is my primary way of listening to music. I have to stream using Apple Music because terrestrial radio sucks, and Sirius isn't much better." So yeah, judging from these comments, a lot of you are coming from the same place and have the same logic to this question that I had. So since we were on the vein of streaming music, I thought this would be interesting. The question was, do you pay for a music subscription service? Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, etc. And this one, the vast majority of you, 60%, say you do subscribe to a music streaming service. In some cases, as I saw in the comments, more than one. What do I subscribe to? I subscribe to Spotify because we have the family plan and my wife and kids listen to that. Then I fluctuate. Sometimes I subscribe to Tidal because that works way better with my streamer. I tried Amazon Music. It was good, but it doesn't work well with my streamer. So I do like the Tidal streaming service for the high resolution music files. Again, that's me. Let's dive into some comments. My Own Devices wrote, "There really are no valid arguments against streaming. It's convenient, sounds good, huge catalog, and is exceedingly affordable and an amazing value." Yes, true. People who poo-poo streaming really don't understand how the current music universe works. And Jukebox Cowboy, "Spotify takes advantage of artists to the nth degree. They thrive off of lazy listeners. Personally, I'm into the thrill of Personally, I'm into the thrill of the hunt." So I'm going to do a second video coming up next weekend with more of these survey questions. This is enough for one episode, but let me know what you thought of these responses in the comments below. Where do you fit? This channel is all about two-way talk, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of the week. Until next time, dear 33ers, keep on spinning. I said that funny. Keep on spinning.